First things first, I'm super excited. I just finished my bookshelves. I have been in the process of organizing them, aka putting every single book that I own that's unread into a spreadsheet. And since I was doing that, I might as well put them in some kind of order that I enjoy, because before they were kind of a disaster. And I'm so happy I finally finished. So now I feel like, kind of relaxed, like, oh, I can read now instead of organizing my books. Although, we all know that organizing books is also a lot of fun. But anyway, so I'm in front of my shelves, even though I'm doing a non-bookish video right now. And this is super overdue. This is going to be my June and July non-bookish wrap-up. I kind of forgot to do this in July for June, and then I was like, oh, I'll just do them together. So I kind of have a lot of things to talk about, but not really. I'm going to be doing podcasts, movies, and TV. Let's start with the least amount of things and go to the highest, aka podcast. Since starting my new job, my amount of free time to listen to podcasts has greatly diminished. I usually listen to podcasts like while I'm getting ready, while I'm driving, cleaning, cooking, any kind of activity that I could possibly listen to podcasts during, but I'm driving a lot less now that I have a real job and not being a delivery girl. So, so I don't really have any new podcasts except for one. I just started listening to Court Appointed. It's a relatively new podcast, but it's, I don't know, if you listen to the Max Fun Network, Sawbones, Still Buffering, My Brother and Me, there's a bunch of podcasts that the McElroy family does, and this is Sydney, who is Justin McElroy's wife's father's podcast that he does with I think it's his brother, but it's basically kind of like Sawbones except with regards to the law. So they look at the history. Well, I mean, lately it's been this last one was landlords versus tenants, and the laws and stuff about that relationship, and I think it's super interesting. There's a lot of dad jokes, but it's really funny. With regards to television, I started and finished both Lady Dynamite and Stranger Things. They are both so good. I'm actually really upset. I kind of want to go back and rewatch Lady Dynamite and Stranger Things now that I'm thinking about it. But in case you haven't heard, Lady Dynamite is Maria Bamford's show. It's a Netflix original show, I think. And it's loosely based on her life. And so there's flashbacks to two different parts in her life. She was hospitalized for, I think she has bipolar, but I forget which type of bipolar she has. If it's, I think, bipolar 1, I forget. But so it's it's current day where she's healthy and she's trying to stay healthy, and then it goes back to when she's getting manic and before she's hospitalized, and then it's when she's really depressed, which I think is post the mania. So it's kind of right when she gets out of the mental hospital. So it's so wonderful that she has taken her mental illness and made such an incredible thing out of it, because I don't know, it's just so good. The problem is though that everyone around her is horrible, and I really, really hope that's not actually what these people in her life are like, because everyone is terrible to her. And so gosh, anyways, and Stranger Things, I'm sure you've heard of. If you haven't heard of it, go watch it right now. There's 8 episodes. It's so good. If you like horror, it's a scary thing, but it's so good. I also watched a little bit of Bob's Burgers and Portlandia, just, dotting around. And I started watching Charmed, which means I haven't finished Angel yet, because now I'm forcing Jake to watch Charmed, because I don't like the last season of Angel, but I feel like we have to finish it. So slowly but surely, 1 episode a week, I think we're getting through Angel, and maybe eventually we'll finish. So yes, now to the movies, the most exciting part of my part of this video. I don't know. So the first thing that I want to talk about is where to invade next. Also, I'm going to be putting links to all the trailers and everything down below. So if I talk about something that sounds vaguely interesting, you can go watch a trailer that's supposed to sell you the thing, as opposed to me just talking about it with no graphics or photos or anything. So the first movie, or maybe not the first movie, but a movie that I watched within the last couple of months is Where to Invade Next by Michael Moore. I feel like a lot of people have problems with Michael Moore. I don't, because I think he is incredible. But I feel like even if you don't like Michael Moore for whatever reason, you need to watch this movie anyways because it's not like I don't think it's a liberally bent whatever anything. It's just Michael Moore going to different countries in Europe and like finding something that they do really well and seeing how, like, if we could, or like basically comparing things that we don't do so well here compared to countries in Europe doing them well there. So I feel like a big problem that we have in this country, and not to get all political, is that people have this mentality that USA, USA, we're the best, we're the best. But like, you know, every country is good in some aspects and every country is bad in some aspects. And so like looking at your faults and trying to fix them is kind of a good way to run, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know, there's this like, there's this weird mentality that like the United States can do no wrong and is so fantastic and everything that we do is perfect. It's so gross. It's like gross nationalism, and I don't understand it. I don't have that feeling. I mean, I like the country that I live in, sure, but it has a lot of problems, and I would love for those problems to be fixed. And I feel like that's the most beautiful part about Michael Moore in this video is that, like, he loves America so much. Like, Michael Moore loves this country, and all he's doing is trying to make it better, but, like, everyone gives him a hard time. I don't understand. I don't know. If you understand, let me know. Don't yell at me. But, you know, anyways, it's so good. People in Italy get 2-hour lunch breaks. They get to go home, make meals, and spend time with their family, and then go home. They get like 4 weeks paid vacation. There's more and more things that are insane that everyone does that we don't do. But I'm sorry, I said I was going to stop. But I just don't understand because in this country, all that matters is companies, like big corporations, making more and more money every single year. That's all that matters. And they don't think about their employees or anything because someone else is going to do it for cheaper. Like if you don't like it, that's fine because someone else will do it because we're so individualistic. This video is turning into such a rant. I will stop. The next movie that I'm going to talk about is called The Warriors. This movie was so good also. I had a great movie time in the last couple months. But The Warriors is basically, I think it's set in New York City, and it's all of the gangs of New York City converge at the very beginning of the movie because they're gonna try to like make a pact to not kill each other anymore and to like go after the cops, I think, but basically not to like stop gang violence in between the different gangs that exist. And so there's this one guy who's kind of like leading everything, and at the very beginning he gets killed at this like summit, and everyone fingers, well, not everyone, someone fingers the Warriors, which is the name of one of the gangs. And so the rest of the movie is like the Warriors just trying to get back home to, I think they're from Coney Island. I think Coney Island is the location that their gang is like in. But yeah, so it's really good, but you feel so bad for them because at the beginning, it's like they don't know that they've been blamed for the killing of this like really important figure, and so they're just trying to get home and they keep getting attacked and they don't understand why. And it's really funny because the outfits are hilarious. I think it's set in the 70s or something, but all the gangs have their own little like outfits, and there's this like, you know, baseball team and stuff, and yeah, I think it's really fun. It's not the most feminist thing in the world, but you know, it's fine. It's really entertaining for what it is. The next thing that I have to talk about is The Music Man, which I watched for the first time, and oh my gosh, this was also a riot. We were watching it and didn't realize, I think it's Richie Cunningham from Happy Days is like the little boy that has a lisp in Music Man, which was really, really funny. It's just a fun movie about, it's a fun musical about a man who comes to this town and tries to start a band, a boys band. And it's great because musicals are the best. The next movie that I have to talk about is Marie Antoinette. This is the Kirsten Dunst movie. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this one per se. It's very beautiful. It's very, very, very beautiful and like has this feeling about it, but it's like very slow, very, very slow, which I don't mind. It's a quiet movie, so it's a quiet movie. Anyways, next movie is The Night of the Hunger. I didn't even remember what this movie was. I had to like look at the synopsis. But basically, at the very beginning, there's a man. It's like a black and white movie. It's from back in the day. But a man robs someone, I think, and then he gets sent to jail. But he tells his son and his daughter, I think, where the money is, or like he has them hide the money. And he gets sent to jail. And while he's in jail, he talks to his partner that's in the jail cell with him. And then I think he dies. He gets executed, but the partner gets jail cell inmate person next to him. You know what I'm talking about. He gets sent out, but he is a crazy psychopath, and he goes after the family because he knows they've got the money, and so he's trying to like get the money, and it's kind of tense, kind of scary. It's pretty good. I wouldn't like run out to go watch it, but it's definitely interesting, except horrible because the guy is terrible. Oh, I have to sneeze. I'm so sorry. I can't edit that out. The next thing that we watched was Weekend at Bernie's. This is hilarious. I think this came up because we were watching the trailer for the, Harry Potter, Daniel Radcliffe movie where he's like dead on an island with some guy who's in everything. I don't know names of people. And so we were watching that trailer and I was like, oh my gosh, that reminds me of Weekend at Bernie's. And Jake was like, I've never seen Weekend at Bernie's. And I was like, oh my God, you would love it so much because he loved it. It's very ridiculous. This movie is about two working dudes that are working on some kind of like company, and they find out that someone's been like stealing or embezzling something. And so they go to the boss about it, and then the boss is the one who's behind it, and so he like wants to have them whacked. But he gets whacked first while they're at this weekend house of his. His name is Bernie, obviously. And so then the rest of the movie is them just pretending that Bernie is alive still and like partying. Hopefully that's not giving away too much, but I don't think so. It's very, very silly. It's very silly. And then the last thing that I watched was Bridget Jones's Diary, which was for Booktubeathon, and this was my book-to-movie adaptation. I watched the movie, and I loved it again as usual. So, yes. I'm out of breath. That was a lot of talking. Yeah, those are all the things that I consumed non-bookish related wise. Let me know if you have enjoyed any of these things, too. Did you watch Stranger Things? What did you think of the end of... What did you think of the end of Stranger Things if you watched it? Put like spoilers or something though. But oh my gosh, I can't wait for season 2. There has to be a season 2. We'll see. Thanks for watching, everyone.